on Friday night against Sheffield in the race for the playoffs. How do you look back at that game?
Yeah, we're really proud. I thought the lads showed a lot of guts, especially backing it up after a short turnaround against playing Wakefield. That were a physical game. So really proud about how we backed that up. I don't think we were at his best, but really proud that they showed, the guts and heart they did to grind out a win.
It was difficult, isn't it? Looking back at the footage, the floodlights aren't the best there as well. Was it a bit closer than you would have liked, just the 2 points?
Yeah, listen, at this stage of the year, all that matters is getting the win, but definitely a bit closer than we'd like. I thought when we went 3 scores in front, I think that should have been it. But, Sheffield are a great team. They obviously, they weren't just going to roll over, and, you always know teams like that can counter you as quick as they can. And, it's a good lesson for us, especially going into Sunday. That not to switch off and that lack of concentration can come back and bite you if you don't get it nailed.
Even though you did concede 24 points, I thought defensively you were superb. Forced a lot of errors from Sheffield as well. And one of the key things about doing that was the line speed as well. Is that one of the things that you've really tried to kind of preach to this group as well, line speed in the defensive set as well?
Obviously, we want to pride ourselves on his defence. Listen, we're really happy we got the win, but we're not happy that we conceded the points that we did in the way that we did. And, there's some work still to do on the systems. But one thing I love about this group is they've got plenty of heart and character. So I think, really happy with certain things and other things that, we want to get after this week to fix up ready for Sunday. Because if we don't fix them up, we'll get burned.
Yeah. Looking at team news for the week, you had Liam Harris, Jesse D, and Akuma Tai also back into the fold as well. How good was it to have 3 big players like that coming back?
Yeah, massive. All influential players for the group as well. I know Liam's obviously his captain. Akuma's, one of the senior heads in the group, and Jesse's got a excellent leadership and voice within the group too. So getting all 3 backs being massive for us. They'll be a lot better for getting a hit out. They've been chomping at a bit for a couple of weeks now, so it's just been picking the right time to get them back. So yeah, really happy they're back, and touch wood, we can build on things in training this week, and hopefully we'll be in a better spot for it too.
And I understand that was one of the first times you'd actually seen Jesse D play in anger as well. What impression did he leave on you?
No, listen, I've obviously watched him train and seen some video footage of him before, but that was the first time I'd seen him up close playing, and he offers something different for us, just Jesse. He's got some play in him. He's also a no-nonsense sort of player, so really looking forward to seeing him in action again on Sunday as well.
It was important for Liam Harris to get a couple of scores as well, just to build his own confidence, and he looked sharp as well.
Yeah, I think Liam's full of confidence. He's a typical halfback, isn't he? He's got that cheeky side to him, but that's what you get from Liam. One thing that I love about Liam Harris is he's got a cool head under pressure, and I think getting him back, especially for games such as Sunday, he had that level of leadership and composure for us. So really glad he's back, and from a personal point of view, he's got that in his game, hasn't he? That he can score them little breakaway tries or off them kicks and things. So yeah, really glad that we've got him back.
And of course, it allowed Nick Williams to go back to fullback, where he seems to have kind of settled down recently. I know you tried him there earlier on in the year as well, and maybe his positioning was a bit still getting used to the role, but he seemed to be really settled against Sheffield. I
think Nickow's just an absolute champion person first and foremost, and then what a player off the back of it. He can play obviously at half-back, his preferred position. He'll drop in at centre as shown, and full-back, and he just wants to play. And wherever he plays, he'll give it everything he's got. So, Nickow's in your team every week because of his talent, and then ideally, you're playing where he wants, but he'll also put his hand up and play wherever he's needed. So, really lucky to have him in the team.
We always do tend to focus on the backs and the halves, but I thought Brendan Santi as well seemed a real workhorse carrying the ball as well, especially when maybe things got a bit scrappy at the start of the second half as well. Just how important are, the forwards and some of the contributions, effectively sticking the ball up the jumper and just running it down the channels as well?
Yeah, Brendan offers again. He offers some great leadership throughout that middle, along with some of the other guys. But for him in particular, I think he's been in a real rich vein of form this last 4 weeks, especially in the role that he's been asked to play. It was a good lesson for us on Friday because I thought we looked a bit nervous at times, and came up with some unforced errors that we'd probably not seen for a few weeks. So, a good learning curve going into Sunday as well. So, yeah, really happy with how everyone's come through that.
There seems real competition for places now in the forwards as well. The prime example, I guess, being Connor Fitzsimmons and Bailey Antrobus. You got the luxury of leaving players like that out of the lineup, out of the matchday squad as well. Is that part of why you think you maybe at this point in the season getting the best performances out of the forwards, that competition for places?
Yeah, I think in professional sport you need competitions for spots. If there's 2 spots up for grabs, you want 3 quality players, don't you, as such? So there's some real competition in that middle at the moment, and both players that you've mentioned there have got massive parts to play for York. Some games it doesn't go their way. There were James Cunningham also that were left out. Another quality player. So I'd rather have these sort of headaches than, if you go back a few weeks to Bradford where we were struggling to name a 17. Yeah, it's why what you want as a coach, what you get paid to do, and I'd rather have these sort of selection headaches than the opposite.
Does Bailey come back into your thoughts for Featherstone, the type of game that you're expecting there?
I think every player's in his thoughts. Yeah, Bailey were really gutted as you'd expect he wasn't in, and he's been training the house down. So he's definitely in your thoughts and expectations to be in the squad. And then it's up to players to perform in training, and then come Friday we'll know the 21-man squad.
So what are your thoughts on Featherstone then? Another team that are looking to get into the playoffs just like you.
Yeah, very good team. I think they're well coached. They've got some quality players. I think with Calabakin coming back in, and obviously Lacans. They've got competition for places themselves in them pivotal spots now. They've got some good go forward. James Lockwood's added a lot of standard behind the scenes too. He's a quality player, and him coming out of retirement's made a difference for them. So I think, like most teams this year, they've gone through a phase where things haven't really gone their way, and they seem to be coming out over end. So we're expecting best version of Featherstone on Sunday, and two equal teams that going at each other. It's got all the makings for a good game, hasn't it? So we're focusing on where we need to be as a group, also aware of obviously Featherstone and where their threats are, but it should be a good game, all being well.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple equation, isn't it? Winning, you're in.
Yeah.
But have you been looking at the permutations of what you need to do to get across the line? And I guess first and foremost, just get into the playoffs.
Yeah, well, it's control what you can control, isn't it? You can control things by making sure you put the performance in on Sunday. I mean, I think, there's realistically, I think Sheffield will beat Dewsbury without sounding disrespectful to Dewsbury. So you're tossing up between York and Featherstone and the Widnes Barrow game, aren't you? But that's irrelevant to us. All we're focusing on is putting in the performance on Sunday, and as you've just said there, it's all to play for. It should excite us. I know it's exciting me. It's exciting your neutral fan, and it's definitely exciting the group. So we're just going to make sure that we keep training where we need it to be, and roll on Sunday.
I guess the potential prize at the end of it is that 4th spot. How special would it be to get the home tie in the playoffs for the fans as well?
Yeah, listen, without reading too far ahead, we've got to make sure first and foremost that we just get prepared, ready for Sunday. But as you've said, if you can get an home playoff tie, it's great. Especially from where we've been as a group. But all we're focusing on at the moment is making sure our standards where it needs to be, and we're under no illusions. It'll be a tough game, but one we're looking forward to, and as I said, it should be a cracking game to be involved in.
And the head coach James Ford was there on Friday night as well, watching you against Sheffield. You were obviously together at Wakefield. What are you expecting in terms of the identity and brand of rugby from a side under James Ford?
Ford is a good coach. He's been coaching a very long time. Obviously, we know each other well, and I think Ford will be saying exactly what I am. He'll be focusing on himself and making sure that his team's where it wants to be. And listen, there'll be a well coached team. Will Featherstone, he's got a good attention to detail. So yeah, as I said, he does his own work on teams just as any coach does, but I'm focusing more on on York, on where we want to be, and I think me and Fordy are kind of irrelevant in that sense. It should be, and rightly so, all about the 17 players for each team that takes to the field come Sunday.
Just finally, they've appointed a Super League referee for the game as well, Aaron Moore as well. Do you think that's an indication of just how much is at stake in this particular game as well, and do you welcome that as well?
Well, listen, referees are referees. Ideally, your best referees in any sport are the ones that you don't notice, aren't there? And that's on us as players to make sure, and coaches to make sure that teams are playing the game how it should be played, and obviously referees, to officiate how it should. I think the hardest part for me in the Championship in comparison to Super League is it's like two different games in how they're played, and how they're officiated. So I think, sometimes you can get a Super League referee that comes down that officiates it like a Super League game. So it is what it is. We'll just focus on ourselves, and hopefully the referee's not really important.
Yeah. Do you have to have a chat with the players going into the game to make them aware that some calls that they might get in the Championship might not be the same, or do you have those conversations beforehand?
Yeah, players know. I think the main ones for me is the ruck control and things like that. Obviously in Super League it's like very fast, and everything's a little bit more cleaner. For obvious reasons, because of the pace of the game. So I think sometimes officials need to understand that in the Championship, but it's on us as teams to make sure that we respond to the referee. Referees tell you very clearly before the game what they expect and what they're looking for. So as I say, I don't really want to focus on myself, on the opposition coaches or the referee. I'd rather just focus on the teams, and we'll be doing everything we can to make sure we put our best foot forward come Sunday.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.